And I might also share my screen, I think. All right, this is Ashley Simonson. I teach eighth grade language arts at Cedar Middle School, and I am going to be discussing Wallace article number 1. And this one kind of just delved into like the leadership principles that a person in school leadership should have, and kind of like the priorities of the district. And so it kind of went over this study where they tried to kind of get a pool of strong candidates for administrative roles within their different districts. I think there was like 4 different schools in different states. Colorado was one of them that I remember. I don't know. They were scattered throughout the US, but they were like trying to figure out how to pool the best candidates for these leadership positions, and looking at like the items or like the things that a principal or a person in an administrative leadership role should have. Like they should have pre-service training. They should be able to score high on like that self-evaluation, like some sort of system like that, like he had us do earlier in the week. Um, Dr. Meisner. Let's see. Talked about like going and having them like do kind of like internship type, like on the job, where they'd have a university program that they would be in, like a master's program. But most of their work would be like done under like another like acting school principal. And then it talked also about some of the struggles with kind of relaying the stuff over into the assistant principal role. And really, that was kind of it. Just going over the leadership standards, the need for like the in-service training, the university programs, the different competencies, and different things like that.
Cool.
Okay. Guess I can jump in next. Do we want to share screen? I'm not sure. It doesn't matter either way.
Let me stop sharing mine.
I can kind of talk about it while we're getting that figured out there. So, so this was developing excellent school principles to advance teaching and learning. And some of the key things that it's going to talk about is like the importance of principles and what effectiveness of principles and how they're crucial for school success. And then it also goes over like state policy levers. The report talks about 6 different policy levers to improve principal quality. So you have standards, recruitment, participation, licensure, professional development, and evaluations. And like we talked about earlier, they're really long, so I don't even know if sharing it.
That's kind of, once I got into it, I was like,
I know, it's like, how do I find some of these key points here? So I can just keep kind of talking about it. So it emphasizes like tailoring, like a principal is tailoring their approaches to local governments, their community, and the school needs. And then states should also prioritize principals in their education agendas. Like, how do we support them there? So basically what it all comes down to is it is talking about what the critical role of that principals play in school success, and then it offers the state guidance to improving that principal qualities. So focusing on how to set those standards, and then recruiting and training principals is probably the biggest thing that it's going on about, and then ongoing professional development for those principals. Yeah, it's just help to enhance, it's a guide for states to help enhance school leadership to have better teaching outcomes.
Okay, so
it's interesting because when it said something about trying to find one that's relates to your situation, and I don't know where you guys are located, by the way. I'm in Salt Lake. I actually teach. I'm going to be the digital teaching and learning and innovations coordinator for the school, and we're a K through 8 charter in Lehigh next year. So I'm really excited about that. But I've been in the last 5 years. I've taught first, second, third, fifth, seventh, and eighth, and web development and visual arts. And it's been nothing but extenuating circumstances, starting with the first year when my school was shuttered. I was at AISU in Murray that first year with my children, who my child was starting kindergarten. So I've switched not only assignments, but types of schools because of course, the next year was the pandemic year. We were all sent home, and then it was the weird online year. It's just been one thing after another. So I've had like this really wide range of experience, and it's been like there's two different types of principals at whatever school I was at. Ones that were inspiring and made you want to work hard and work as a team, and ones that were really not that way. And I was trying to think of what it is that, like, what is that thing that makes them so different? And so I was looking kind of to find that within this article. Well, the article is 136 pages, but I came to this section, which kind of brings together the outcomes and conclusions, because this article is called How Principals Affect Students and Schools. And I find, and after hearing both of you share, I find that it's always goes back to a lot of the same characteristics, like in, fostering collaboration amongst the team and being strategic with resources, having organizational skills, being able to talk to, your team and people. And this whole time I was thinking that I was sharing my screen, and I am not, but I'm going to do that if I can figure it out real fast. It's been a long time since I've used Zoom. Let's see. Is it under video? Nope. Sorry. Okay. Nope. Do you know, is there an easy way to do this, or?
Should be a green
always use
thing
Google
that says
Meet
share
too.
screen.
I see the share. Now, to be fair, there was something over it before, but it says host disabled participant screen sharing. Oh, well, if you want to check it out, there's this diagram.
If I can fix that. Sorry, I don't know.
Oh, no, that's okay.
Oh, here we go. I think I fixed it.
Okay.
Try it now.
Alrighty. I'm just gonna have to go with desktop here, I think. Oh no. It's gonna prompt me to open system settings, and hopefully this is a quick fix, but if not, it's okay. All right. That actually should work. Let's see. Oh, it wants me to quit and reopen. I'm not going to go to that trouble and interrupt our recording here. So never mind. But on in that article on page, what is this? Page 93, there's an interesting diagram, and it kind of lays out those qualities that I just mentioned. So and it's titled leadership behaviors. And so I think that's interesting, particularly because I really, really admired the principal that I'm now going to be working for. And, so far she just seems to really echo all of these leadership behaviors. And so I'm excited to be working under her leadership this next year. That's all.
Okay, great. I looked at this a little bit differently because I've been a principal before. I taught language arts for 15 years, and then I was a principal for 2 right through COVID, which kind of broke me of ever wanting to be a principal again. But one thing that I looked at is I look at my time as a principal and my work now. I'm the curriculum specialist in San Juan County, and I work with a lot of principals in a support role. But I also work with the assistant superintendents who are the supervisors to the principals. And so in this reading that I did, there's a whole domain on principal supervisors. And I thought of my experience with my supervisor when I was a principal and my experience working with principal supervisors in my district now. And it was really interesting because it talked about redefining the role of the supervisor to be more of a coach so that there's not conflict. And I see that a lot in my district. Our principal supervisors, um, they are supervisors and they're evaluatory and they can hire and fire and all of that, but they really work in a collaborative role with the principals, and it really shows in how our principals perform. We have those kind of visionary, strong principals that we want, and it was a little bit different. I never felt that support as a principal from my supervisor, so I've looked at it. I looked at it in kind of both ways. But it gives a whole bunch of discussion questions that define the supervisor role, and how the supervisor can build capacity and what the caseload should be, and it has a rubric for really defining how the supervisor should work, and it really it made me see that we're doing it right in our district, and that maybe when I was a principal it wasn't quite as good. um, I don't know if that would have made COVID easier to have a real strong supportive supervisor. I don't know if it would have mattered. COVID was hard. But I really liked that. I really liked that. I don't think you can address, like, even superintendents, right, need somebody that they can go to and bounce ideas off of. They need that support, and even from the top. And so, like, I look at it now, I do a lot of coaching, I do a lot of work with principals and with teachers, and everybody needs that support, and everybody needs that support in a way that doesn't feel like you're always being evaluated. You're always like, this is always part of your job performance and your review and your job security and stuff. Just somebody that they can go to and bounce ideas off of, and really have that culture where they can say, I'm doing this to get better and to be more visionary and a better leader and to have better outcomes in my school, because that's really why we're here, is to get better outcomes from our students. So that's what I thought of as I read through that.
That's really fascinating. I'll tell you guys real quick. This is the first year. This will be my 7th year teaching. And this is the first year that they have asked teachers to evaluate principals and vice principals. And it kind of shook everyone to the core, because principals have been they're having a hard time after COVID. A lot of good people who were good principals left. And then a lot of people who are not doing as well have been struggling. And I see in my district alone, I think that we're going to see a huge shift in how the district supports our principals. So that's why it was so fascinating to see this on how districts and states can do a better job supporting principals.
Yeah,
You know,
for
it's
sure.
funny because in my experience that I described before with the difference between the types of principals, the fundamental difference, both of the teachers or principals that I found to be great leaders were at charter schools, and the other ones were at public schools, at districts. And I felt like, I mean, and I'm even still involved in one of those districts as on the community council because my kids are in that district now. And I feel like I witnessed how difficult it is to kind of level up and be able to learn more and improve your own area, because there's in a district, there's just it's so difficult to make change, right? There's so many steps and so much paperwork. And for me, that's sort of why part of the reason that I took leave and I found this new employment opportunity, because seeing that was a bit unsettling for me at the district level. But are you all at districts then?
Yeah.
So,
I've taught in a charter school before, so, and
Yeah.
it's different. It's definitely a different environment.
Yeah.
So,
but then as you were describing the support, that and the coaching, I'm wondering, like, how does our principal now have us get support, and who would it come from? I don't know. So
yeah. And it's like every principal I know right now has a foot out the door. Like we talk about that with teachers too, right? Every teacher is looking.
yeah,
Like every principal is too. And I mean, so I think we all need to give each other a little bit of grace as we go through this, because education's hard right now. So
Yeah.
agreed.
Yeah.
anyway, any other thoughts?
And did we meet our quota? I think how long?
It was supposed to be 15. I think we're a bit over, but that should be just fine. And I will save it and upload it. I guess he said with the link that the audio files wouldn't work or something, or the video files. So I'll do that and we should be good.
Okay.
Okay.
All
Thank
right.
you so much.
Thank
Thanks you
very
guys so much. You guys have a good
Thanks.
night.
Nice to
You
meet
too.
you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.